Before repairing the Conval Clampseal globe valve, make sure the process line is de-energized and the valve is safe to work on. Partially open the valve to take the stresses off the stem. Using the integral gland wrench, loosen the packing gland. Remove the clamp bolt from the valve yoke. Place the clamp bolt in the opposite side of the yoke. Utilizing a fender washer or shim, use the clamp bolt to lightly spread the yoke. The clamp bolt should only be turned a small amount. Do not overspread the yoke. Using the yoke wrench, remove the yoke in a counterclockwise direction. When removing the trim or inserting tools, be careful not to scratch the internal sealing surfaces of the valve. Inspect the seat in the valve with a flashlight. If the seat is damaged or has erosion cuts, you can use the Conval seat cutting tool to renew the seat in line. Make sure as you insert the seat cutting tool to not scratch or damage the sealing surfaces in the valve. The seat cutter outer nut should be fully seated on the body threads. Tighten the upper nut just slightly. This is the adjustment that determines the depth of the cut. It is better to take multiple small skim cuts. Use a wrench to turn the upper portion of the tool a full 360-degree turn. Always turn clockwise with slow and even pressure so that the cut does not chatter. Tighten the upper nut to readjust the tool depth. Repeat this process as many times as required to renew the seat and remove any erosion in the seating surface. Carefully remove the cutting tool. Inspect the seat to ensure that all erosion and seat damage has been removed. Use machinist blue to stain the disc seating area. Move the stem back and forth lightly to engage the seat and disc. Remove the disc and look for a point line contact of the blue removed. If there is a clean contact all the way around the disc, then the seat has been properly renewed. If only a part of the blue is removed, then reuse the seat cutter to remove more seating surface. If the final visual damage is minor or a simple wave in the seat, then move on to lapping disc. Using the lapping tool, the disc can be lapped and mated to the seat. Use a coarse lapping compound followed by a fine compound to lap in the disc to the seat. Blue can be reapplied to ensure a good point line contact around the entire seat circumference. The Conval packing tool can be used to repack the bonnet. Most packing sets include a braided graphite ring to be placed in the bottom of the bonnet, followed by 2 die-formed rings with another braided ring on top. The Conval packing tool is helpful when installing the packing. The tool can also be used with an arbor press to preload the packing. Install the newly packed bonnet on the stem. The packing will not drag against the threads of the valve stem. The Conval stem is a tapered fit. When the valve is disassembled, you might notice some shims above the bonnet landing. There can be 0 shims or up to 3 total. It is very important that the shims go back on top of the bonnet before reassembly. The order of the shims does not matter. Raise the packing gland all the way to the top and then back down slightly. Screw the yoke assembly down on the valve stem. Once the yoke reaches the body threads, stop. At this point, the stem will need to be raised all the way to the top to ensure clearance of the stem and disc as the valve is reassembled. Tighten the yoke by hand until tight. The last amount of tightening will need to be done with a yoke wrench. The goal is to have the split in the yoke match up with a witness mark that was punched into the body at the factory. This final amount of yoke tighten should take considerable force. The clamp bolt will be removed along with the washer. The bolt will then be placed on the opposite side and tightened. There is torque value in the instruction manual. The packing gland should now be tightened using the integral gland wrench. Provided in the Conval toolkit is a packing gland wrench. It is not a necessity but can aid in the process of tightening the packing. A good practice with any packing is to consolidate the packing. This is done by opening and closing the valve a full 3 cycles and then retightening the packing gland.